I literally read it so many times. I'm reading it backwards now.
I think this is a good note for everybody out there.
He says that I don't pull well on TikTok, so
He doesn't.
It's
just a fact. It just doesn't pull well. It's called social media for a reason, and it's not selfish media.
I just gotta clear something up. You weren't the 12th man on the field.
Right. There is no easy way to get anything ever.
This is Mornings with Matt, the Deering Acting Studio podcast, where we discuss the connection between life and acting.
Alrighty, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Mornings with Matt, the Deering Acting Studio podcast. Please do not forget to subscribe to this channel, like what we're doing, and share this. Help us spread this light-driven content to the planet. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a huge guest on today, somebody we're very excited about. She lives in Colorado. She's 15. She's an influencer. She's a singer, and we can't wait to talk to her. Miss Liv Carr to the show.
What?
Hey, good morning there. I said good morning.
Oh, good morning.
So, how are you doing this morning? I saw you were up pretty early, huh?
I'm getting up because my wife gave me about 7:30 and then go to class pretty fast. So.
Great.
Is the audio coming in weird to you?
Yeah, it's a little weird, your audio over there. Yeah, I think you might be on a random microphone that's not connected quite right.
You guys, I promise we tested before the show, and I promise it sounded good to me. That does not mean I did not make a mistake. I'm not perfect over here.
That's what we correct one, so.
Yeah, you sound really far away, like you're in a different room or something.
Are you able to hear me better?
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, my computer might be a little weird sometimes.
Oh, yeah, the computer mics are hidden, so it might have been covered somehow. If it's propped up, that would make sense.
Sneaky computers.
Sneaky computers.
I was right about to buy time. I was like, all right, Matt, what are you going to do?
And I was like, I'm about to go drop some money on time and just buy a ton of it.
Dude, I saw what you did there. That's really funny. Well, what I was going to do, though, is I was going to go deeper into Liv's bio here, so I might as well do that anyway.
I mean, there's a lot to go through.
Of course, yeah. We don't have small-time guests on here. We got big-time guests.
Yes.
All right, so Liv Carr here, she actually sang the national anthem for several events, including the March of Dimes, several sports events, and even Colorado hockey team.
Yeah, so I like to kind of sing the national anthem around town, and I just like to be patriotic, and I think that's a great song to kind of rally people together. So I like singing it. It's a more challenging song, but it's really fun, and I just like to be there for the community and everything.
Yeah, is that so let's backtrack a little bit, because I do want to get back to the national anthem here, but
looks me in the eyes.
If we take 4 or 5 steps back, how did you get started in singing? Was there some kind of like major inspiration for that?
So I did church choir when I was like 6, I think, and then I decided to do my choir class in 1st grade. And my teacher was very influential in my life because she kind of just like guided me and made me realize that this is what I want to be doing. And so I did choir all throughout elementary school. And then middle school was kind of where it progressed a bit more to doing like solos and everything like that. And we would do like interludes, which is where you sing your own song for like a minute and at the concert. So those really kind of helped me find. And then my choir teachers were really helpful in kind of just showing me like, this is what I want to do because it's really fun. And they're really good at teaching music.
So who was that first teacher that kind of put you on path
her
there?
name's Miss Killick, and she's really nice. She played the piano, and she really just influential in my life. And she taught me all about like notes and reading music, which come to now, it's really helpful because, you know, if you're like playing guitar or something, you kind of need to know. So yeah, she was my main inspiration. And then also Mr. Sparks, he was my middle school teacher, and he definitely helped me because he told me that I need to learn guitar if I wanted to play an interlude. And so he motivated me to learn guitar in 2 weeks. So
wow,
dang.
And you did? You learned guitar in 2 weeks?
Yep, it was a little bit of a struggle at first, but once you get it, you kind of just like click, especially since I had that musical background, just clicked for me. And I was like, oh, this is really fun.
That's amazing. So
Yeah.
how old were you when that first teacher inspired you that way?
Ooh, I was in first grade, so like 6.
Wow.
Yeah, so very young, but I really am grateful for it because it just made me realize how much I love to sing.
I think that's why there's such a fight for teachers. You know, I mean, I know Colorado does treat their teachers pretty well. We've got
Yeah.
Joey's brothers out there, and he's teaching now, and his aunt and uncle both went through the Colorado public education system. They both were teachers. They're now tenured, I think, and we believe so much in raising up the teachers and making sure that they are respected and whatnot, and given the tools that they need, because it's tough. Like I know out here in Arizona, sometimes there could be 30, 35, sometimes 40 kids to one teacher. And I mean, just imagine how difficult that would be for an entire 8-hour day. Plus you're grading all the papers, you're assigning all the homework. And now on top of that, with the pandemic, it's like you're going to school half the time. It gets cut off half the time. You're having to segregate the kids into different places with different colored masks and different weird things. And then half the kids are there, half the kids are not there. So you're trying to teach both Zoom and in person. I mean, it's just amazing what these people are doing, still trying to inspire and educate our children.
Yeah.
Definitely. They're very important. They kind of inspire people, and that's why it's important for teachers.
Yeah, and it's important for us to thank them too. It's important for us to remember and say their names out loud, and to recognize the teachers that have really been there for us in the past. Do you have a teacher you want to shout out, Joey?
Yeah, I mean, all day, every day, Mr. Flowers.
Yeah,
So,
Flowers. What about a younger teacher? What about a teacher back in Wick?
Back in Wick, huh? Yeah, probably one of the most influential teachers I had back in Wick was, I have to think back because that was a really long time ago. Her name was Miss Appleby.
No way. Are you serious?
Teacher.
Appleby?
I swear. Yeah. Actually, her name was Miss Von Cullen first, but then she switched it. But
She became an Appleby?
yeah. So she
Dude, that's pretty fun. You're going to get married to someone and you're like, what's your last name? Appleby. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm a teacher. Like, that works out really well.
Yeah, so she taught me in middle school, and then when I got to high school, she got promoted, and so I actually got to have her like 2 or 3 times. But she was a really great teacher, a good friend of my mom. So yeah, she was one that inspired me, even though I did not like science.
Yeah.
She got me to love it, which is what a good teacher does.
Yeah. All right. So Liv, tell us a little bit about have you jumped into modeling as well? Is that a part of your life now?
Definitely. So modeling kind of started out with dancing, actually. So I was doing dance classes, and they were really fun. And then I got introduced to like my first audition for modeling, and that was for a modeling catalog for dance costumes. And that was my first initial time where I was like modeling. And I remember the first day I like came in and they all did my hair and makeup, and then I got to basically play dress up and dance costumes. And yeah, I just really loved it because you just get to, you know, have some bond with the camera, but then you also get to like show off really cute clothes. So
yeah. And then have you kept up with your dance since then?
I stopped dance because I'm doing cheer now, and
Okay.
so that's pretty fun. And I like I love cheer. It's really fun. And then for modeling, I'm still doing it, and I'm doing like outlet segments on the news. So that's really fun because I get to like go in, put the clothes on, and then show them for the segment on the news, and then I get to, you know.
Are you
sometimes
are you like friends with the broadcasters now? Do you have like a secret handshake you do when you walk in? Yes.
Because like one of the news anchors dresses up as Elvis Presley every Friday, and that's when we do him, and he'll just come in and he's Elvis Presley, and we're just like,
Oh my gosh.
Does he stay in character the whole time?
He does. He does stay. Like even when we're talking to him without the camera on, he's like, "Hello."
Matt's got a mad Matthew McConaughey impression.
Well,
really?
I'm not sure about that, Joe. All right, so so very cool. So cheer has been important, right? Especially through the pandemic here. It's been something that you've been able to connect to. Tell us about that.
So I did cheer last year, and it was a lot different than now because last year we actually we were able to go to games, and it was more student involved. And now this year it's definitely a bit different, but it's helped me have some social time from like being on the computer all day, because like being on the computer and talking to people is not the same as like in person actually discussing things. And so yeah, cheers definitely kind of brightened quarantine for me. And I'm just able to like, you know, get my workout in first off, and then second off, see girls every day and get to talk to them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. So how many girls are on the squad that get together?
Okay, so we have a game day squad, and that's, I think, 10. And then we have the comp team, which is 25 or something like that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's great. Deal. That's excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you've been having there've been cases that keep popping up at the school. Is that something that's happening over there?
For our school, it hasn't happened as often as other schools, which is good. But at the same time, you know, we have been a little bit more careful about going in class, because we used to be a little bit more lenient on like, you can go in, you can. And so it's definitely changed a lot more.
Yeah.
Due to like all the cases. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's interesting what's going on right now. We're gonna find out what happens here at the turn. I'm excited to see. You know, we've got some new medical breakthroughs coming through, and we have some transition happening and whatnot. So hopefully, at the end of all this craziness, we're gonna see a little light at the end of the tunnel. That'd be great.
Yeah. So just question, because I'm a super fan. Because you're on the cheer team, does that mean you like football? Like,
yes,
do you watch the game? Yes. Are you a Broncos fan?
I do not really understand football, but cheers definitely made me actually realize what they're doing. So I'm like, oh, this is actually really cool.
Are you a Broncos fan?
I'm more of a Dallas Cowboys fan, to be honest, mainly because of the cheerleaders. I mean, the Broncos are cool too.
No, that makes sense. So she cheers for the team that has the best cheerleaders.
Yeah, makes sense.
Of course, that makes perfect sense.
Makes sense.
Genius.
So I'm a big fan of this other thing you were almost a part of, Kids Bop.
Oh yeah.
My
radio.
goodness.
I know, but
Yes.
Here's the thing. I'm a fan because at our studio, we like to play the popular music, but we want to play a clean version of that. And so we found the Kids Bop a long time ago, and it's nice because we teach kids, teens, and adults. So when the youth come in, we want it to be clean, but we still want it to be fun and upbeat and current. And so I love what they're doing over at Kids Bop. Tell me about your experience there, coming up through that.
For sure. So it started off with like a general audition, and you had to like submit the dance that they provided and then a singing of a song. And I chose Stitches.
Wait, so Kids Bop, there's a dance group too?
Yeah, for Kids Bop, they're all about like dancing while singing. So I mean, it's kind of like Broadway, but more of like a pop style. So like they dance, and then they also record songs for the radio to hear. So they have like several music videos, which is pretty cool. And then they did that audition process, and then I actually got a call back, and that was the best like thing ever. It was so much fun because there's about 15 or 10 of us, I don't remember, but there's like about 10 of us, and we got to go to LA, and it was really fun. And we kind of became a family, which is pretty cool because you just get to meet so many people while you do auditions. So it's good to kind of form bonds and friendships. So we did the callback, and it was very intense. Like we had to learn all these dances, then we had to do all the singing and stuff. But see, I like that because I grew up in like dance conventions and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was fun. But we did all that stuff, and then like had us go in and actually audition for our callback. And I decided that it wasn't the right time because I thought that missing middle school would be like really bad and everything. Do I kind of regret that decision? Yes.
So did you pull out at that point? Did you decide not to audition?
Yes. I mean, I'm glad I did the whole audition process and everything, but I felt like it wasn't right. And I think it's important to kind of be able to trust yourself. And if it's like not right, just, don't do it if you believe. I regret the decision now because I think it would have been so much fun. But when one door closes, like another one opens. And my parents were supportive about that decision and everything.
So I'd say, here's my advice on that would be, as you move forward, it's really cool, honestly, to also admit, like, hey, I'm not sure where that decision was coming from, like where, because that's what you have to ask yourself is like, where is the decision coming from? Is it from my spirit or is it from fear, And if it's from fear, then you really want to question that. You want to question it deeply and go, okay, if fear is the only reason I can come up with for not doing this, or fear of missing out, let's just say, then I want to probably push it. I want to probably like surge forward. But if I can find some like very good logical reason that's not fear-based, and it's like my spirit is telling me, you know what, this is not right, then you have to follow that, So let's just say, I don't know, you were getting some kind of vibes from the organization, and it was like, I'm not feeling like that. There's something not right about this. Definitely follow that instinct. But if you face something in the future and it's based on fear, then you're gonna go, you know what? I don't want to be held back by fear. There's no harm in me trying this. I'd rather go back and go, hey, I tried it and decided middle school is better. I'm gonna make a right-hand turn, rather than saying, like, looking back and going, I wish I would have done that.
Yeah, for sure. I was really thinking middle school was going to be something like really cool, but to be honest, it wasn't honest.
It's like, just middle school.
Now being in high school, I got like a year out of my system, and now I'm like, please, like I have some opportunities coming up that potentially could be really, really exciting. And I'm like, heck, the first time they're like, hey, you got this, I'll be like, okay, I'm going.
Later. Yeah, and I mean, obviously we couldn't have predicted that there was going to be a pandemic and be all these things that were going to shut down school anyway. But yeah, I always talk about this. I feel like this has got to be a really hard time for teenagers, missing dances and missing events and things that I took for granted growing up, and you're just all having to miss all those things, yeah?
Yeah, I know that it's like hard for sophomores, but I feel like I'm kind of in the perfect grade because I got an 8th grade musical. I got mostly a freshman year, and hopefully it's good. Hopefully we get like homecoming and prom by next year and stuff, but I don't know. I feel bad for like a lot of other classes because they got to miss out on things that I didn't. But yeah. I like to like go to every school dance, be involved in everything I can because like this happened. You never know if you'll be able to actually get it again. So it's important to try everything in high school and middle school or whatever.
Okay, I just gotta throw this out there. Who is drummer Carson? Do you know him?
Oh yeah, drummer Carson is this guy, and he's kind of like one of my biggest fans, I'd say. And he's really supportive, though.
I was about to say he's in the comments, and he is
commenting and like being very nice. So
yeah, I told him, I was like, it looks like you're Liv's #1 fan.
Yeah.
So much positivity coming out in the comments over there for you.
For sure.
So let me ask you about this too. You're also you're a snowboarder and a surfer?
Yes. So when we live in Colorado, kind of want to try stuff out.
Yeah.
And I actually first learned skiing, and skiing is fun and no shame is scared, but I think snowboarding's a little bit more difficult, and it's just like, it's more my kind of style because it's more like balancing sideways, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's kind of similar to like skateboarding and surfing. So I did my first ever veil shoot for like, it was like a lifestyle shoot for actual veil, but it was really funny because that was my first ever time snowboarding, and then they said beginners, right? So I was like, okay, I'm a beginner, perfect. And then they were like, well, we need you to go on the Black Diamond. I'm like, and there was like 2 boys who were like, okay, I'll go. And then like everyone else was like, we'll go to the lodge and get hot cocoa and do some shoots. And it was very fun, but I wasn't about to go on the Black Diamond. Like, I'm about trying things, but
right.
I didn't want to break anything. So I was like, I'll pass.
So how about now? Can you go on a Black Diamond now?
Ooh, I don't think so. I could.
Not yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'll make my way over there. And then, when I go to California, I'm very into like the water and ocean because I am a water sign and I like to go surfing and boogie boarding. And yeah, I love surfing. It's really fun. I may
Right.
not be as good as it as like other people, but it's still really fun.
Right on. My brother just moved to Colorado. He's been there for like a year and a half, and snowboarding is still on my bucket list. I've never done it, but I longboarded for a while. So I'm
Oh, wow.
anticipating to see what the difference is. I don't know how I feel about my legs being strapped in.
You'll be fine. There's a lot of crossover between skateboarding and snowboarding.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it when the day comes, and I feel like it's gonna end up like, cause I always thought it would be at Snowbowl. Snowbowl is a place in Flagstaff here, and it's kind of like they blow snow onto the mountain for Arizonans, and then some snowfall comes.
No, dude, we had huge snowfall this last year. We did. We ranked nationally this last year. I mean, that doesn't happen all the time, but we did. We did. Don't be knocking Snowbowl.
Okay, all right, my bad.
Yeah. Don't be coming after my beloved Snowbowl.
I was just saying that
On this show, we do not bring down Arizona-based businesses. We do not.
That's true. All right, I'll give that to you.
All right.
I'll give that to you. I was just saying that I will probably end up going to Colorado first to snowboard or ski, which is interesting because that's supposed to be like the place. So.
Yeah, it's really nice. I've done some skiing up there.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, it's pretty great. All right, well, that was a good silence after that.
Yeah, every now and then, I feel like
Well, it got weird.
all three of us needed to take a breath there. We were all just like, all right, what's next?
The last subject I want to go over with you is one we don't need to spend too much time on it, but the idea of becoming an influencer and what that looks like, what it feels like, how did that come about? Even having a fan like that's weird. I know like my wife had fans and we get fan mail and stuff, and it's like, I don't know, it's weird. It's like it's super weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, there's a reason for it, and there's something that you can do with your platform, and you can glorify God, and you can bring positivity into the world, and that's what we're hoping to do with this show, is to spread light and love through the planet with our show, and that's why we have you on, actually. So tell us about the process of becoming an influencer and what that means to you right now.
So I started off actually at Kids Bop. Everyone there had like Instagram and all that, and they had a lot of following. I was like, okay, maybe I should kind of get on board with that. And so I started it off, and people were like, how'd you gain so many followers so quickly? But it's been like a 4-year process.
Yeah.
So it hasn't necessarily been that quick. Like now I'm starting to gain more followers over time quicker, but it started off pretty slow. And then a big part of, I'd say, like influencing is like collaborations. And so my first ever like collab was with Pretty Party, and it was like some hair extensions. And so that was super cool. And I like collaborating because it kind of just is able to give light to other businesses, but then you're like bringing your platform to kind of help them, but then they're helping you. So I really like doing that. But one of my most favorite things to do is like do lives, because I kind of like to talk, if you maybe can notice. I don't know. But I love to talk, and I think especially like right now, it's important to kind of check in on how people are doing.
Yeah.
Make sure they're like, they're okay. And I like to perform some songs on there sometimes and everything like that. But I think being an influencer, for me, I love doing it. It's really fun. And I also like having kind of a fan base, and I'm like really like supported by them. And it does help me get through hard times. I mean, with being an influencer, there are always going to be some negative hate, and I think honestly it's kind of built me a bit more because I'm kind of used to dealing with it. But like I say, it gives you good songwriting material. So yes, you're always going to get hate for things, but I think you have to look at the overall picture and be like, am I doing what I like to do? And I love to do it. So that's my kind of thing on social media.
So I know you're going to have quite a bit to say about this because that was amazing, but I just wanted to point this out because this is the first thing that stuck out to me. So Kids Bop, maybe like she didn't choose that route, but she took the lesson from it.
Yeah,
like,
right.
That's how you become an influencer? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, that was a huge opportunity. You took it. You were like, okay, cool. Let me see what other people are doing. Even if I didn't choose to go that route, like that's a big part of what you got you started. I love that.
Yeah, I love that too. And the idea too of right away telling people it wasn't easy and it wasn't fast. And even 4 years, I mean, that's a long time, but imagine where you're going to be in another 4 years or another 12 years with the same type of consistency, because that's what it's all about, you know, is building and grinding and building and grinding. And at any point, anybody can plateau. Anybody can give up and be at a certain place, or you can continue to progress and continue to grow forward. So, yeah, I love that. I think that's amazing, and I'm happy for you and grateful for what you're doing for people. So, speaking of, for teenagers out there right now, I like I said, I think it's difficult for teenagers. Why I like to bring some of the younger generation onto this show. Do you have any advice for the kids out there that are feeling maybe a little lonely, a little bit disconnected from their friends and from this world in general, and kind of being pulled out of that, like their normal lives? What advice do you have for people right now?
Well, for me at least, like in the beginning, I definitely did feel disconnected, and I didn't feel like I had really anyone. And I think that it's really important to find something you love. And that could be, for example, like for me, I kind of got into running. And the running kind of like took my mind off things, but also like when, you know, you work out, you get happy. So it made me happy. And I think also just reaching out to people, even if it's online through like Instagram, obviously people, you know, make sure, but, you know, making sure that you still keep relationships with people. And like, I know people will host like Zoom parties and things like that. And I think just kind of taking advantage of that and just know that you belong and you're important to this world. So that's my biggest advice.
That's wonderful. Yeah,
I love that you do the lives as well. I think that's so cool. That's kind of what started this show, actually, was same type of deal. We just wanted to talk to people. We kind of knew Brian pulled us aside. He's not here right now, but he pulled us aside and he was like, people are going to be sad. Like, they're going to be sad going through this. This is a big change. Nobody's been through this. Like, our whole lives are going to be flipped in a different way. And this is something I think would be a really good idea for us to do, to spread a message of love, of light, of positivity, of thinking, what can I do versus what can't I do? And it sounds like you have that same mindset, which I love.
Yes, I think that's important. Like you're saying, focus on what's the positives of the world rather than like dwindling on the negatives.
Plus, she gets to say "live with Liv," which is pretty.
Live
cool.
with Liv, yeah, that's.
Live with Liv, living with Liv.
I'm all about alliteration. You know
so there was something you said that kind of popped for me, which was the when you work out, you get happy. Tell me about that, because I believe that to be true, and I've seen a lot of our guests on here have a similar habit routine that puts them into happiness, puts them in a state of joy and a state of I can versus I can't. So tell me what that means to you. Working out makes me happy. Tell me about that.
Well, for me at least, I'm a bit competitive, but like, you know, good competition. And I think it's good to kind of have competition with yourself sometimes. And I think especially at this time, it's good to distract yourself. So if you're thinking more about like, oh, let me see if I can get my mile time quicker. Let me see if I can run longer. Anything like that. And plus, I don't know the exact analogy or anything like this, but working out releases like happy endorphins for a little bit, and that makes you feel like accomplished. Or at least for me, when I have a routine, it just makes me feel accomplished, which leads to me being happy.
Yeah, good. And it's also the self-affirmations and what you tell yourself too. So when people say, oh, I have to work out, like, oh, I got to work out today. All right, like, oh, am I going to work out? And there's an association. She says, working out makes me happy. Working out makes people happy. So I'm going to work out because I want to be happy. Like, you just believe that. You say it to yourself. It's going to happen. And then it just happens. That's the way it is.
Yeah. And Matt's really big on, he has daily affirmations he does. And I know he loved the idea of competing with self, because he does that all the time around here. He doesn't try to beat me. He doesn't try to beat Brian. He looks at what he did yesterday and what he wants to do today, and he tries to beat every single day, try to get a little bit better. It's just...
I was at my physical therapist. So here's what I was doing, by the way. I'm almost 40, and I was trying to beat my mile. I was running up and down Camelback Mountain, which is a big mountain here in Arizona. I was playing competitive basketball, doing all this stuff, and I probably pushed a little too hard. I definitely did, and I blew out one of my knees pretty bad. So I'm now 3 surgeries deep into this like recovery process. It's still not better, and I'm scheduled for another one. Anyway, long story short, I'm sitting here with my physical therapist yesterday, and she's like, "How's your knee?" And I'm like, "Well, it's still bone on bone, so not good." And you know, we joke a lot, and so I was telling her for my 40th birthday, my wife wants to rent a lake house because I love the lake. I love water skiing. It's like, oh, love it. And so like that's what she wants to do. And I talked to my physical therapist, and I'm like, but I'm not gonna rent it yet because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to water ski yet. And she just looks at me and she's like, so what would be plan B then? And I just looked at her and I go, wait until I can do plan A. There is no plan B.
Stone face. There is no plan B. Never.
All right, so speaking of plan A's and plan B's, I do have a plan B here for wrapping up the show, and we need to wrap. It's time.
Yeah.
But how could I have a premier vocalist on the show without even asking? And I'm sorry to do this, but to ask if you wouldn't mind singing a song. Would you be willing?
Yes, of course. So I'm going to sing my original, but I'm going to only sing a verse and chorus because I'm in the process of getting it like demoed and everything recorded.
Okay.
So I will sing a bit for you, and I got my guitar here. Oh my gosh, we have a metal table, so.
So are we getting a sneak peek of something that hasn't even been put out yet? Oh my God, Joey, this is huge.
Wow.
I did it on my live once.
Okay.
Was that yesterday or the day before? Is that the thing you were singing?
No, it was a while ago, actually. It was like in the beginning of quarantine. This song has been like a year in process, but the thing about making songs is that you're never like finished with it. You're like, I can make this better. It's like, okay, it's done as much as I can to it. So
sounds like my book.
And it's called Metamorphosis, and it's about like change and everything. Different, quiet, alone, and scared. Until I learn to be myself, I guess I changed.
Hey!
Wow! Oh my goodness! You're kidding! You wrote that?
That is beautiful. Beautiful.
Here's the thing. There's just a fact involved here. She is over Zoom right now, and it sounded that good.
I know. I'm just
I just want to see it in person. Like that's so good. Wow.
Thank you.
I was literally blown away. It's like, dang.
Thank you very much.
Liv, thank you so much for being on our show. We sure appreciated interviewing you. Thank you for all your advice for the teenagers out there and for everybody just to stay inspired, to stay positive. Get out there and work out. It makes you happy, guys. It really does.
Thank you so much for having me on. I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. All right. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. This has been Mornings with Matt. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, help us spread this light-driven content to the planet. Thank you, and God bless.
Thanks for listening to Mornings with Matt. Please like, subscribe, and follow us at Deering Acting Studio to keep up with the latest content. For more information on classes, private lessons, or professional development coaching, visit www.deeringstudio.com. Have a Deering day, everyone.